When APOR revised its Code of Professional Ethics and Practices in May 2015, for the first time it included minimal disclosure standards for public opinion research conducted using content analysis methodologies. Content analysis can be qualitative or quantitative, and the material to be analyzed can be from any one of a variety of sources, such as open-ended verbatims collected in surveys, newspaper and magazine articles, television and radio broadcasts, politicians' speeches, tweets, or posts on social networking sites. Content analyses can be performed by human coders and/or via automated coding software. In this module, we introduce and briefly describe these disclosure elements for qualitative research, which can now be found in Section 3.C of APOR's code. Members of the Transparency Initiative are expected to report each of the data elements described in this presentation at the time that they publicly release findings that rely on the methods of content analysis. For content analysis research that is not publicly released, members are expected to report these data elements when providing findings to a research sponsor. Here are those disclosure elements. It is fundamental to report who sponsored the research study and who conducted it. If different from the sponsor, the original sources of funding should also be disclosed. It is important to always provide a description of how the content analyzed was collected or obtained. Important information to provide includes the source or sources used, how much content was analyzed, such as the number and average length of the articles, tweets, blog postings, or news broadcasts examined, the dates analyzed, the language or languages included, and any criteria or decision rules used to include or exclude any elements of content. The approach taken to sample the content that was analyzed should always be reported. If a census of the target population of content was employed, that should be explicitly stated. Also to be reported should be a discussion of any threats or concerns related to the validity or quality of the content examined and any steps taken to address them. Examples of concerns that might be discussed include online commentary created by bots, fabricated social media profiles, and relevant content that might be missing from the source or sources used. A description of how the analysis was conducted is also important to disclose. Whether coding was done by software or human coders, or both, and whether quantitative or qualitative methods, or both, were used, is essential information. For analyses using automated coding, the software and the parameters or decision rules that were used should also be reported. For analysis using human coding, the number of coders and any training and instructions provided to them should be disclosed. In reporting this information, any formal coding scheme used should also be provided, and if no formal coding scheme was used, this should be disclosed. Information regarding intercoder reliability, the amount of text analyzed by multiple coders, the process used when resolving inconsistencies, and any steps taken to increase the level of agreement among coders if multiple coders were used, should be provided. If only one coder was used, this should also be disclosed. The unit of analysis for the content analysis, such as news article, a broadcast, a tweet, or a blog posting, should be indicated. If weights were used to develop a coding scheme and/or to produce final estimates, the calculation of those weights, including the variables used to do so, should be disclosed. If the content analysis involved qualitative data collection or survey data collection, then other relevant disclosure elements associated with those methodologies, which are covered in other modules in this series, should also be provided. Also consistent with other methodologies covered by the Transparency Initiative, if the results reported are based on multiple samples or multiple modes of data collection, all of the items discussed in this module will need to be disclosed for each. Thanks for your interest in the Transparency Initiative. If you have any questions regarding any of the material covered in this module or would like additional information, please email us at transparency@apor.org.